BKFC, I am the greatest combat athlete of all time.
You know, when I think of the fight, it's like, man, this fight is like, it's a shootout. And it's an interesting shootout. It's a shootout with no guns, with no knives, but better, with two damn fists, with two bare-knuckle fists. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Tell the Tape. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C. And on this episode of the Tell the Tape, I'm going to be breaking down, that's right, the underdog king, Eddie Alvarez versus Platinum Mike Perry. Guys, this fight is intriguing. Why? There's two reasons why it's intriguing. One, there's no gloves. And then two, both these guys are damn brawlers. Who is it that's gonna come out top? Guys, that's only for us to find out. That's right, it goes down this Saturday, December 2nd. So you guys make sure to download that BKFC app. Enough talk, let's take it to the big screen. Okay, so here we have it, the tale of the tape. Platinum Mike Perry versus the underground king, Eddie Alvarez. I mean, in the square circle, guys, this man has experience. That's the first thing that I see right away. Having one fight against Chad Mendes, though, too, someone who's really explosive, who's a shorter fighter, who has ruled boxing skills, that is president. But having two more fights on top of what he's already had, it is different, especially in a game like BKFC. You know, 5'9" to 5'10". Dude, these guys are pretty much the same height. Pretty much the same height, with a little bit of reach advantage for Mike Perry, and reach in boxing really means a lot, and particularly being bare knuckle. Why do I say that? Is because there's two things. There's distance that you can play in mixed martial arts, but then there's range. And when both of these fighters are actually inside fighters, they like to literally brawl and throw with skill. That makes it a little bit different. But then again, the age too. This man is 32 years young to a whopping 39. You know, I think of this fight and ask, will Eddie Alvarez want to maybe play the matador? Is Eddie Alvarez willing to let a little bit of that ego, is he able to throw that ego out the window of being known for the nickname that he has? Trust me, man, when a guy like that is able to finish a guy like Justin Gaethje, and he's been able to fight the best in the world, and particularly, I think of that fight with Justin Gaethje, this dude has balls of steel. Stance, orthodox, they're both orthodox, you know, inactive. They both fought on the same card. When this man fought Luke Rockhold, this man fought Chad Mendes. An intriguing fight. But without further ado, let's break down the strengths of Mike the Platinum Perry. What are his strengths? He doesn't get enough credit, man. But he controls the center of the square circle very well. This dude is able to stay in that square, and if you're gonna back him up, he's more like he's gonna find a way to get back in there. And I think that's partially what makes a guy like Mike Perry. He doesn't allow people to kind of, not too often. I'm not saying he doesn't go back, because he has gone back against some of these fighters, but where he's had a lot of success has been in the center of the square circle. Two, his dirty boxing. I feel like Mike Perry has watched a guy like Randy Couture. He does a really good job of getting that collar tie and then throwing those uppercuts or throwing those left hooks there. I mean, there's two things why that works. One, it fatigues you because you're using that way. Two, you're able, not just that with the hand, but you actually have a grip with your actual hand that you can't get with the actual glove. So you're physically, literally being able to use the palm, be able to use your fingers to actually web. On top of him weighing on that neck and then eventually throwing those uppercuts and then those left hooks, or it could be vice versa. But either way, guys, this dude knows how to dirty box. And the other thing too is, he's got grit. He knows when he has to bite down his mouthpiece to actually win. If we go back and watch that fight against him and Michael Venom Page, pretty much what I love about BKFC is the fact that if the fight is not decisive, if 5 rounds the judges cannot make a decision, you know what they'll do? they'll add on another round. This man was able to get the victory against Michael Venom Page because they did that 6th round, which is a 2-minute round, and he was able to just use that grit, bite down his mouthpiece, and literally go to eventually get the victory. And not but not least, I know it sounds weird that one guy has 3 fights and the other guy just has 1 fight, but being in there in a sport like BKFC and the simple fact that these guys don't have any gloves, dude, that's wear and tear. Like, you're not gonna see at BKFC guys with 20, 30 fights like you would in the UFC, in boxing. Dude, this sport is like, you're in it, you're out. How many fights? You might, maybe 5, 6 fights before you call it quits. Why do I say that? Chad Mendes. I'm out, dude. I had some fights. I don't like it. I mean, I can go down the line and literally talk about these guys, because this sport, when you talk about brutality, when you talk about real fighting on your feet, like if it was a street fight, BKFC on the feet is the closest thing to that. And now let's go over Mike Perry's weaknesses. You know, sometimes he won't get his head offline when he throws. He will throw, and he actually does a really good job of feinting. And that's one thing that I will say that Mike Perry doesn't get credit for. He will bait you with the feints and then see what he has to do, and then he'll go in for the actual combination. But at times he doesn't. The simple fact that you can do this with your head, this with your head, this with your head, sometimes Mike Perry will keep his head in line, which allows him to get hit. Sometimes over blitzes. Sometimes he crosses distance a little too much. He'll smother his punches. He'll get a little too close, and that just talks about he needs to work more on a little bit of his emotions. You know, can you the way you hit pads, can you do that? The way you hit pads, can you do that in an actual fight? Can you have the discipline to kind of keep that perfect range in order for you to be successful in this fight? And again, he's Mike Perry, but this is the same reason why it makes him successful. It's the same reason why he's been cut. X, Y, and Z has happened, because he will sing wildly. As much as he loves to bite down that mouthpiece, he also lives by the sword and dies by the sword. And to me, the most important one, where he needs to be careful against the underground king, is his damn defense. Sometimes he overlooks his defense. Sometimes he's so eager to strike, he's so eager to get certain things that he forget that he has a chin too. And guess what? Mike Perry, everybody has a button. But let's get to it. Eddie Alvarez, the experienced vet, the Bellator champ, the UFC champ. I want to say he was the one champ, I exit that. Never had a chance to win the one championship, but he was able to win belts in organizations that a lot of people have not done. And I do believe that Eddie is one of the best lightweights in the history of our sport, for that matter. His strengths. His boxing combinations, yeah, you could consider him a brawler, but he's just a fighter. He's a fighter who loves the technique, who loves to throw down, who loves violence, man, to say the least. Which could be key, but he utilizes his jab very well. His jab is really good, man, for being super bulky, and obviously he's going to be the smaller opponent. He has a pretty crisp and short jab that he does that could pepper a guy like Mike Perry in the face, that can make that fight very problematic. His footwork and movement, you know. I wish he would have used a little bit more of that footwork when he fought a guy like Conor McGregor. I felt like he was a little stale in that fight. But if you watch him against Chandler, the time that he did beat Chandler, he was moving, dude. A lot of lateral movements, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, like literally playing the game rather than just bringing the war. And just like Mike Perry, this dude has grit. Eddie Alvarez has grit, man. You fight a guy like Justin Gaethje and you're able to finish a guy like Justin Gaethje, dude, there's a reason why they call him the underground king. But let's go over his weaknesses. hesitates to throw at times. You know, we go back and he was caught a lot by Chad Mendes, even the smaller guy, is because he was there's a little bit of hesitation, which allowed Chad Mendes to really, come off and actually get some good combinations, even though he did get the victory. And because he does fight, and because he does live by the sword and die by the sword like Mike Perry, his chin will be exposed, just like Mike Perry. So these are two things. This is why, when I think of the fight, it's like, man, this fight is like, it's a shootout. And it's an interesting shootout. It's a shootout with no guns, with no knives, but better with two damn fists, with two bare-knuckle fists. His lack of experience at BKFC. If you think about it, I go back and I tell you, one fight and 3 fights, it's a big difference, because the fact that it's a bare hand, the fact that your face could be rearranged literally. If you watch all the fighters who have fought at BKFC, dude, dude, not even the UFC, there's no other organization that when you come out of a fight, you're gonna know that you're in a fight. I think of Paulie Malignaggi, look at his dad face. Multiple-time world champ, goes to BKFC and shits the bed. His age, he is 39. He is 39 years. I'm not hating, because I'm up there too. I am 36, gonna be 37 in a few months. Don't tell nobody. Maybe send me some Christmas presents or some birthday presents, I'm sorry. But whatever it is has he taken care of his body at being 39 years old? What are my final thoughts on this fight? First of all, this fight right now, dude, I am super excited to watch. I was actually invited to go to Salt Lake City to watch this stuff, airfare, hotel, and all that. I wish I could make it, but I got 2 guys that are fighting. I got Calvin Gastelum fighting, and I got Davis Figueiredo, who have been helping out this whole fight card. But if I could make any of the cards, guys, this would be it. Because these are 2 guys that love to brawl. These are 2 guys that are actually very technical. They both think, they both understand the sweet science of fighting, but they prefer to just fight. There's animosity in between them. They're very similar when it comes to strengths and weaknesses. But the biggest thing, the reason why I love BKFC is because the rules do change. And guess what, guys? Size does matter. I mean, when you're talking about, I got the grip, I got the hand, like there's no room for error. You may have the crisper jab. You may be X, Y, and Z. And I go back and I think of a fighter like Paulie Malignaggi versus Artem Lobov. Did you see what happened in that fight? The guy that brought the fight, the guy that used those knuckles correctly, was able to beat a multiple-time world champion. I saw that fight and I saw it again. Paulie Malignaggi, I'm sorry, bro, but you lost. You lost to a guy that's inexperienced, but this is the difference, and this is what makes BKFC very special, is the simple fact that the rules change. And when the rules change, the punches change, the technique change, the tactics change, and also the threshold. So who is it that's more likely going to win? Eddie Alvarez does have the better technique. Eddie Alvarez is the more experienced vet. Eddie Alvarez has multiple championships in the UFC, in Bellator, and a lot of these Japanese promotions as well. But when it comes to BKFC, it's hard for me to literally go out there and count this dude out, this backyard brawler from Florida. And it's the same reason why I do believe in this position. Size does matter. And this dude is out there to take it all. And his name is Mike Platinum Perry. So if I'm gonna bet the house, I gotta go with Platinum Perry because of his size, because of his eagerness, and the simple fact that he has 2 more fights more than a guy like Eddie Alvarez. And I do believe that this fight, for both these guys, somebody is going to get finished. So again, guys, I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, AKA Triple C. You guys just watched an episode of Tell the Tape. I just told the truth and nothing but the damn truth. So you guys make sure to go to bkfc.com and download the BKFC app so you guys are able to watch this live on December 2nd. Who's gonna win? I already told you. Triple C is out!